You know the story. Before money, there was barter. You've got chickens, you need shoes. But the shoemaker doesn't want chickens, so you're stuck, and humanity invents coins to fix it. Every textbook tells it. You could probably recite it. There's just one problem. Anthropologists have spent more than a century looking for that chicken and shoes village. Every continent, thousands of societies. And in the next few minutes, you'll find out what they actually found. Plus, why coins show up 25 centuries late to their own origin story. And why the first real money looks less like treasure and more like a spreadsheet. Be fair to the story first. It's a good one. Adam Smith wrote it down in 1776 in The Wealth of Nations, and it paints itself. A village market, a man holding a fish, a woman with baskets, everyone trapped in an endless puzzle of unwanted swaps. Your fish for my baskets? I don't want fish. 2 chickens for a knife? Come back Tuesday. And then, the breakthrough, everyone agrees on one shiny thing everybody always accepts, and civilization takes off. Logical, tidy, satisfying, and completely made up. In 1985, a Cambridge anthropologist named Caroline Humphrey went through the evidence, all of it, and wrote the sentence that detonates the textbook. No example of a barter economy, pure and simple, has ever been described, let alone the emergence from it of money. Read that again. Not rare, not hard to find, never described, anywhere, in the entire recorded study of human beings. That's not a gap in the record. That is the record. So what did people in villages actually do? Something you already do. They ran tabs. Your neighbor needs grain in March. You'll need help raising a roof beam in June. Nobody stands in a field haggling chickens against shoes. The neighbor takes the grain, and everyone remembers. The village runs on favors owed, stretched across seasons, tracked in heads and reputations. The ancestor of money isn't a coin. It's a favor, remembered. And the moment humans built something big enough, that memory alone couldn't hold the favors. They wrote them down. Mesopotamia, 5,000 years ago. Temples and palaces are running economies too big to remember, so they press the debts into wet clay. Who owes, how much, due, when? To measure it all, they use a unit, the shekel, the weight of 180 grains of barley in silver. And here's the wild part. You could owe shekels, pay in shekels, grow rich in shekels, while the actual silver barely moved. The debts changed hands. The metal mostly sat still. Some of the oldest writing on planet Earth is not poetry, not prayers. It's IOUs. Humanity's first spreadsheets, fired in clay 5,000 years old. So where are the coins? Late. Spectacularly late. The first ones appear in Lydia, modern-day Turkey, around 600 BCE. Little stamped lumps of gold and silver alloy, one of which sits in the British Museum right now. Coins are brilliant, portable, anonymous, no ledger required. But do the math on the timeline. By the time the first coin was struck, ledger money had already been running the world's economies for 2,500 years. Coins aren't the beginning of the story. Coins are the new kid. 1,000 years ago, China went further. Merchants in the city of Chengdu, tired of hauling literal wagon loads of heavy coins, started trading paper promises instead. The Jiaozi and the Song dynasty government soon took the idea over. The first paper money on Earth. When word of it eventually reached Europeans, they thought it was lunacy. Money you can't bite? It took Europe roughly 6 more centuries to work up the nerve. Now line the whole thing up, clay tablet, coin, paper note, and watch what you do today. You tap your card. Remember those 2 seconds? Nothing moves. No object changes hands at all. A ledger updates. Your number down, theirs up. 5,000 years between the clay tablet and your banking app, and they are the same machine. Money that is nothing but trusted entries in a record. Think about what that means. We didn't invent digital money. We went home to the original kind. The coins and the banknotes, the real money, those were the detour. So the chickens and the shoes, the swap that never happened. What actually happened, 5,000 years running, is the cobbler handing over the shoes and saying, "You'll owe me," and somebody, somewhere, writing that down. Money wasn't invented to replace barter. It was invented to remember. Which means if someone owes you a favor right now and you both know it and neither of you has ever said a number out loud, congratulations. You're running the oldest financial system on Earth. Money as memory works beautifully, right up until the physical kind wears out. Because paper money still exists, it still travels, and it dies. Billions of bills every year. Where do they actually go? There's a machine, and what comes out the other end of it will surprise you. That's next time. And remember, none of this is financial advice. Alex is a cartoon. He can't legally advise you on anything.